Yo, no industry, audio fanzine, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Thank you for listening. I appreciate everybody for still listening after it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years of me doing interviews, so this is really exciting to still be doing interviews. My guest today is, I guess to make it short, is someone who I consider a great artist, someone who I've looked up to in as far as comes from punk but still does super amazing just art. I don't know, I could give a long introduction, but you know who this is. Moses Brown from Glue in the Institute, Piece de Resistance, and Moses Brown, the solo project. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, yeah.
I'm very stoked that you agreed to do this. I've always felt like you're always a reserved person, so I'm very, very stoked that you agreed to do this interview.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, yeah. I feel like I'm yeah. If people ask me to do something, I'm just usually yeah, sure. And so and it just took you asking. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I want to talk to me about growing up in Austin, Texas. You released a record last year called Stone Upon Stone. I don't even know how I would describe that record. It's a very soothing record. I play it at work, and funny enough, the people who come up to me, it's a vegan bakery. So the people who come up to me and ask me about that record, and it's happened a couple of times, is always older people.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, which is I think it's a very spooky sounding record. That's my interpretation, but I always find it kind of funny. That's always doctors or people who work in offices around downtown LA. They're what's this playing?
That's cool.
Yeah, but talk to me about your childhood.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, okay. I was born in Austin. My dad is from upstate New York. My mom is from Kansas, and yeah, they met at an engineering firm and started dating. And then, yeah, I was born a year later, something like that. I don't know. It was pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Grew up in North Loop area, which is kind of where a lot of the bands were happening in the 90s. So Trance Syndicate, kind of noise rock label, the drummer of Butthole Surfers, they all lived around there. He had the Trance Syndicate headquarters pretty close to my house. We would go on walks when I was a kid, and there would just be we would probably hear 3 or 4 bands practicing just in houses. Any time you'd be walking around the neighborhood. It was crazy. But yeah, just grew up.
Were you a single child? Do you have siblings?
It was just me. I was the only kid. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. My dad was always kind of like my brother, He's the one that got me into playing music. He was got into skateboarding when I got into skateboarding too.
Okay.
So he's this 40-year-old man that was skating with us at we'd go to drainage ditches and stuff, maybe skating with us. But yeah, he did kind of singer-songwriter-y type stuff in the 90s, just under his own name, Mark Daniel Brown. And so he had a home studio set up in our mudroom with and basically at some point tore down this old shed that was in the back and put up a new shed that also had recording studio space for him. But I don't know, quickly when he did that, then he kind of stopped doing music and started doing this house renovation. So the studio just kind of became me and a rock from Institute, our place just to jam. And it's just, when we're 11, 12. And then, yeah, all this stuff slowly amassed a little bit more stuff, and just like all the things we were playing on in like middle school like became like that was like the gear and like the space that all these Austin bands started practicing in.
Whoa.
So like Reside, like me and Albert were in another band in high school called Shredheads. It's like a silly like skate punk band. But yeah, so like I met them and they started coming to practice at my house in high school because I was like, I don't know, like my dad just has all this like music stuff. I don't really know what to do with it. Like, you guys should come play at my house instead of your house. And then that just snowballed into like Reside and Glue and all those like institutes. Everybody like was just, that was the house. If you were in a band with me, you would come practice at that house.
Whoa.
So it was like this super like fertile, music zone. Harris from Glue is always like, without Mark Brown, without Moses' dad, like there would be none of this like, Austin 2010 punk scene that you guys think about. Like, wow, it's kind of true. Like, yeah.
Well, that just kind of like, it's funny because it connects to something I was thinking about the other day. Like how it takes a long time for takes like a couple bands for your band to be good, and like I was thinking the other day, I think I was like doing my research on like all the bands you've been in, and I kind of came across like you started Glue when you were like what, in your like 21 or younger than that.
Let's see, I would have started Glue when I was like 19, 20. I mean, yeah.
And I was like, man, like fuck, how the fuck did these fools start Glue at 19? I was like I was like kind of like envious. I was like, how the fuck do you like get it right like that early? Yeah. And then that video where you guys are playing live with the Institute, I think I matched and it was like you were 23, and I was like, how do you like get these like the music right? But this makes sense. You had the access to like get to practice and like develop yourself as an artist.
Yeah, we just been there doing it for a while. Like, all throughout high school, like playing in bands. And like, well, with Glue specifically, like Cody in high school like toured with all these hardcore bands. Like he was going on tour and like all across the states. He was in Bitter End and Hard Side, I think.
Yeah.
They can't quote me on that. But so like, Glue started and was good because Cody had been playing in hardcore bands for like at least like 4 years. As a 16-year-old, he was like going on tour with like these guys, and they're probably like late 20s or something.
Yeah. And I'm very curious to ask, so you're like, you come home, you have this studio, you have like the ability to like create music, and you said you met a rock at 11, right?
Yeah.
How was your like normal school life? You're like this kid with like a dad who's like, your homie, you get to ride and skate, play music. So like, what was school like? Like, what was like, were you like the awkward kid were you like the cool, people are like, oh, this kid's cool because, I don't know, he dresses cool or whatever. Like, what was like your life outside of home?
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely just like super nerdy, awkward skater kid that I think people probably thought was cool, but like I was too just like nervous and freaked out to like, be a popular person.
How were your parents pushing you to like get good grades to like go to college and all that, or were you just like it was just kind of music and that's it?
No, they were definitely they were very. My dad is a big school guy, despite being rocker music head. He was they were definitely like, you should go to school. You should I don't know. I was like, compared to everybody else in these bands, like, I was just like, I'm going to school every day. Like, if I miss school, like, I'm going to get in trouble and I can't do that. Like, I was just way more like, anxious, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Just had to follow the rules.
Okay.
And so, I think, for me, compared to a lot of these, like, the other guys, like, probably way more uneventful. But I was at my house, I was going to school, like skateboarding, and then like I would be I like didn't know how to record bands. I always tried. Like I would like record me and Albert's band in high school, and it would never really work. Like I didn't. I had like an interface, but like it would like show up all as one track only on the left channel, and I'd be like, "Sorry guys, like like this is the best I could do." Like fuck. So I wanted to record music, but like never could figure it out. So honestly, a lot of the time in high school, I was just like on the computer making like drum and bass. Like that was my shit. Which I think like I would show it to like Albert or something, and he'd be like, whoa, like that. I don't know anything about this. It's cool that you made it."
How'd you meet Albert? Like how exactly? Do you remember like the time you guys met?
Yeah, Albert was. I mean, he went to the same high school.
Okay.
And yeah, he was just like a year older than me and skated. And our friend Peter, who played in Reside, Peter was in like Spanish class with Albert or something. And the band that Albert was in, their drummer like quit the band or they kicked him out. And Peter was like, "Oh, my friend Mose plays drums. Like, you should ask him." And at that point in time, I had like I had like a chrome bag, and on the bag I had like a Aphex Twin patch and a Minor Threat patch. Crazy. And Albert was like, "Oh yeah, I saw the Minor Threat patch, and like I knew like this guy was cool." And so they just asked me to play in the band. And yeah, that was it. And then we've just been playing in bands since then.
Who else was in this high school? It was Albert. You was a Rock in this high school too?
A Rock went to that high school, yeah. Alex that plays in Reside and Nosferatu, he went there. I'm trying to think who else like of punk scene. Yeah, once we go through bands, I can be like, oh yeah, they went to high school.
What's this high school called?
This is McCallum. It's like the like fine arts high school in Austin. So like all the like artsy indie punk kids went there.
Damn. So every time if I ever pass McCollum High School in Austin, Texas, it's like, fuck. Like this is like
that's the spot.
That's the spot. The crazy resume that kids come out of there.
Yeah.
So high school ends. What's life like? You're approaching the senior year of high school. What is life looking like? Does glue start at this point? Like, talk to me about Moses. Like at 16, 17.
Yeah, high school's ending. Like Reside is starting. Yeah, like we had been doing like the skate punk band for long enough, and Albert was really like I want to do like a more like serious band. Like I don't know, just at that point, like the punk in the States was like having the resurgence, with like just bands in Boston and Richmond and all that, like, late aughts stuff. And he's like, I want to do something more like that, like more like serious. And so, yeah, Reside started. We started playing shows. I got into the UT, which is in Austin. So I was like able to stay in Austin, but go to school still, which worked for everybody. Just that was the start of freshman year of college was like the start of all the bands, really. That was like Reside just playing all the time, and like us meeting like Harris and Cody and like Cody Pfeiffer, all these people started linking.
And what was like, I guess, to connect, like, was there a specific venue? Was there a specific, like, what was like, I guess, what brought you guys together aside of music?
Yeah, I think Albert was just like the connecting factor. Like he knew everybody because he went to every like punk show, which I honestly was not doing. I was like going to stuff that, I wasn't as tapped in as him. Okay. And so he was like, oh, this is, Kyle, this is Harris, this is, yeah. I mean, without Albert, we probably wouldn't be talking to me.
Wow. Wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, oh yeah. He was the head, man. He like, he knew loved to make music, you know what I mean? But like Albert was like just knew so much more about punk. And would like just, he taught, I feel like he showed us a lot of stuff that like I wouldn't have known about,
Like, give me an example. Like, what was something like, what's an example?
I don't know. Yeah, just like, definitely like he was the first person that was like showing me all the, post-punk bands like Coitus Ant or something, like, and like, all these like post-punk bands that I would like go on, be obsessed with. And then too, just like in high school, like I didn't really, I knew the basics of punk, but he was like, this is like JFA, this is the Dicks, like, kind of all of these, like, he was very like American hardcore focused. So he just like gave me like a breakdown of American hardcore stuff that I wouldn't have been able to get into. Like I don't know how he found out about it. And I just found out about it through him.
And would you guys go to like each other's houses? Like, would you go to his house? Like,
yeah, totally.
I just want to like envision like what would you guys do like when you guys would hang out?
It was just like skateboarding all the time. And then like occasionally like we'd have to, we'd do band practice. But yeah, I'd go to his house, chill in his room and do tech decks and, fucking whatever like Nintendo thing he had going.
The reason I asked is because when I interviewed Albert recently, like we have a similar upbringing where they were both Mexican and we're both like, from Mexico, first generation here. So I think that's like a beautiful thing to like envision, like, like young, like Moses Brown and like a young Mexican kid, like just hanging out through like music and then going on to like do like a bunch of bands and like grow together as like artists. That's like a really like wholesome thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So you meet Harris. How long? I know Harris and Arak were in Iron Youth.
So Arak is, I don't know why he's on the Iron Youth Discogs, but he is. He played one show with us in Dallas. Maybe that was like someone just saw him like, yo, he's in the band. I mean, but spiritually, yeah, he's in there. But so yeah, like Iron Youth I was probably when I was like a sophomore in college. And that, yeah, so like Albert brings Harris into the fold of all of us. And we want to like start a band with Harris because Harris had been going to hardcore shows and like just punk shows since he was like 13. I don't even know. He could tell you better than me. And so he was like super tapped into kind of like the old guard of Austin punk, like World Burns to Death and like all that like Eddie bands, like this kind of Cedos and Criaturas. It was like, yeah, he was more tapped into the punks that were a little bit older than us. But he met us and was like, oh, dude, like I want to do a band with people that are my own age because all these old guys like don't want to hang out with me. And he was straight edge too, and like the Austin punk scene was at that point like, it was just like all like crust, and everybody was just not straight edge. So I think he probably met Albert and he was like, yo, like finally like a kid that's my age that knows all this punk stuff that like is straight edge too. Like this is sick. So yeah, we want to do a band with Harris. And I was actually like, I don't know how it became, but it was like, oh, Moses is gonna write the songs. So like Iron Youth, like I wrote all those songs. I don't know why. I mean, Harris wrote the vocals and lyrics and stuff, but yeah, like I don't know.
It's funny. Yeah. It's a good name too. It's a good name for a band.
It is a good name for a band, but like for like a racist like Eastern European band, like looking back, I'm like this name's weird.
It did come across.
It sounded
my
hard,
mind
but like yeah.
It did, yeah. It did come across. Well, I was like, that's kind of Kind of a crazy name, but it's like, in context,
That's
it's a
crazy
good name.
name. And that's just, well, that was the, everybody was, yeah, that was the era of like fence walking. And be like, I'm not sketchy. What are you talking about? So just like, we're like, oh, I guess we have to have like kind of like a sketchy name. I don't know. Like the sketchy seems kind of cool. We're like 18, 19. I'm probably 20 at this point. You know what I mean? Just like don't know any better. Just doing stupid. Just doing dumb shit because you think it sounds hard.
Okay. What? So, and what? If you don't mind me asking, what? Like, you're playing in bands. You're like, you're in college. Are you doing good in college? Do you have any like? What were you working at? Like, what else are you doing at this time in your life?
Yeah, I feel like I was doing fairly well at school. It was fine. I was working at a grocery store that Peter from Riverside worked at. I think he got me the job. That was sick. I worked there for a while, and then I worked at a restaurant. Yeah, I don't know. I like lived with my cousin for a year, and I like lived with my friend Joe and a couple other roommates for a year. But then I ended up like just moving back into my parents' house because like literally like the school I went to was like I could ride my bike there in like 15 minutes. Like UT is like just very centrally located in Austin, and I lived like just my parents' house was super close to there. So yeah, I ended up moving back into there, which socially was probably not the best move for me. Like I feel like I would have flourished other places, but creatively it was good. I just had that studio there all the time. Okay. So like I was just like in there. That's probably when like Institute started. I was just in there writing songs all the time.
Okay.
And at that point, yeah, like Adam from Wickens had moved to Austin from Denton, and like yeah, he had just gotten there, and he was like, I feel like I was probably, I don't know, I just probably had like a Craft shirt or something, and he was like, yo, like if you want to start like an anarcho band, let me know, and yeah, and I feel like all that like English punk stuff, when I like that was the first thing that I really was like, I'm like diving in and like actually getting to know on my own, because at this point I was still very just like, I play in punk bands, but like people would ask me about it, and I would just be like ask me about like bands and shit. I would just be taking notes. Like I don't fucking know. Like I don't know who. Yeah, I wasn't as well versed as these guys.
Interesting.
But with all the Institute shit, I was like, oh, okay, like anarcho punk. It's like melodic and yeah, like this is my shit. So like that's what was going on when Institute started.
Even like, as far as like aside from music, like the early, because you do a lot of the art for Institute, right? I always have.
Yeah.
How, like, was it in the same shed that you started like just painting and like, I don't know, getting into art, or like, because it's like very collagey, very like spontaneous art is the way I would describe your art. So is that like where it kind of started? Like you're doing music stuff, but you're also like drawing, or I don't know, like how did the art
doing music stuff? And I was like screen printing a little bit back in that studio, but that was like so hard and just gross, like cleaning up. Like I always wanted to like use plastisol ink because I like the white sat on black shirts better. Okay. Every time I would use like water-based ink, I was just like, it doesn't look cool. Like fuck. so I would always be like, I was like, I guess I'm using plastisol now, but then cleaning that was just like so gross. And burning screens, I was terrible at burning screens, so I like would just take my screen to like this print shop, and they would burn it for me, and then I would just take it back and print a bunch of shirts. Like the first Institute shirts I printed. But I kind of quickly realized, I was just like, I don't want to do this. Like this is not my calling. But all the art stuff is just like very much just like working in like a 11 by 17 pad with a Sharpie. That is like, that's how I do it. That's my preferred me, yeah, that's, yeah.
How long would you say it took you for like for you to like write Sharpie on a, like how long did it take for you to be like, I think this is my style now? Because I know like when I first saw your art, I was like, damn, like this is like cool, but it also looks like, as much as I like to the average eye might look like, oh, it's artsy. I'm like, this kind of looks kind of hard to do, like to get it right. If that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. It was purely just out of like necessity. You know what I mean? Like, Institute needed to look like something. I think I did the art for the Iron U 7-inch. Like, well, not. I think me and Harris kind of collabed on that, but that was more of like a graphic design-y type thing, Yeah. And I think the first couple of Institute 7-inches, like that's like graphic design. That's not like I feel like all of my art is like borders on graphic design. It's always got text in it and stuff. And so like I made like a couple of paintings around this time, and this kind of looks like Institute art. They're cool, but like I stopped because I was like, I need to do what I like to do. I need text. Like, what are my paintings gonna say? Like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I just stick to punk flyers and like art for bands. Cause like there, I know there's words that have to be on the page. Okay. Like there, I have material to work with. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it was very much just like necessity, just figuring it out. Just because, like, oh, we got another record, got to do something, or we have, needed flyers, I was just always down to do the art, and just for Institute, like, even from the start, it was kind of just like, I don't know if we ever talked about it, but it's like, oh, Mose is tackling, as the vocalist of this band, Mose will be tackling the visual aspect of it. I feel like that happens a lot,
Okay. That's interesting. That's a compliment for someone in the band to be like, you're doing that.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think anybody like talked about it, but it's just like, yeah, I haven't really made art before that before Institute started. So I was like, I'm gonna try this. And that was like the first time I ever sang for a band or wrote lyrics or anything. You know what I mean? So I was just like, all these other guys are doing this. Like, let me try to do this.
And I think I read in an interview that a lot of your lyrics are like, kind of like, I don't know, like feel based. Like some of the songs are just kind of you just like being poetic. Like there's not like certain themes, I guess. Is that true? Like for
definitely like the early Institute lyrics are very like poetic-y, amorphous. Mm-hmm. To me, they like tell a story, but if you just read them, you're like, what the fuck is this about? But I didn't know how to write lyrics. I was like, and I was probably like too scared to like, be specific about anything. So yeah, I was just like, I'm just gonna do poetic, weird lyrics.
So how would that work? You would like listen to a song and write what came up to your mind, or would you just get in the studio and just kind of like freestyle?
No, I was writing them down. I can't remember at this point. But I was writing them down, and then, but probably singing them for the record, maybe the first time. Okay. That had been sung out loud, stuff like that.
That's a fucking nerve-wracking thing to do. Just to like, I gotta know the song before I record it.
Yeah, like the take on the Institute demo. Like, I don't think we had played even, And like the vocal takes on the Institute now, that's probably like the second or third times I ever sang. Stuff funny. Because now we play a lot of those songs, and I'm just like, dude, I could do it so much better now.
And I saw Institute for the first time when you guys came earlier this year to SoCal. Okay. Or where you guys play the 2 shows, and you have this style where like you kind of look like you don't care. Has that always been like? Are you like nervous or like how did that style come about? Because you're not trying, but you're also like pronouncing the lyrics. It's not like you're doing a sloppy job. You're doing your part, but it's like very like almost I don't know. How would you describe it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very nonchalant. I guess that's the word to describe it. That's the way to describe it.
Yeah, nonchalant. I don't know. Somehow I like got, and yeah, that became the thing that worked for me. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, as a front person, it's like wasn't gonna be like when Institute started, we were playing like just hardcore shows and stuff, and so people are moshing and going crazy, and I was like, yo, I can't. Like I would fall over. Like I can't. I was not good at dancing or moshing or doing any of this stuff. So I was like, kind of just like, this is what I'm comfortable with. Like this kind of disconnected, nonchalant. Because just out of survival, I was like, I can't be like getting in people's faces, and then they're like, come on, get that. I'm just like.
So you're almost kind of like looking over here. You're like, I'm gonna be over here.
Like, please don't touch me.
Really
Yeah.
Interesting. That is very, very interesting. So you're in college. Your institute starts. Talk to me about the early days. Talk to me about the early days of Glue.
Okay, early days of Glue. Yeah, Cody lives in San Antonio, but comes to Austin all the time to just hang out and go to shows. He wanted to do coming from hardcore world, he wanted to do more of like a punk band. And so originally we started it with, it was me, Cody Pfeiffer, like who plays in Nosferatu and Blotter, and Harris. And so Harris was going to play bass. Harris had never played bass before.
Okay.
And Cody was going to sing. Cody Pfeiffer was going to sing. Cody was writing stuff on guitar. I obviously playing drums because, that's what I tend to do. And yeah, I can't remember how the switch happened, but like at some point, I think Harris like was just really bad at bass, and Cody Pfeiffer was like maybe struggling with vocals. I don't remember, but at some point, just like it naturally was like, let's get Harris to sing. Harris had already sung for Iron Youth, so like he was like, you know how to do that, Cody. You know how to play the bass. Like, let's try this, and that worked out. Harris has a different version of this story. He probably is more right than I am. I can't remember. And then, we like, that was probably like the summer, and by the winter we had the demo. And we played our first show, and everybody loved the demo so much that we played last. And it was so stupid. I was like, no. I think it was kind of a joke. I think everyone was like, yo, Glue should play last. And we're like, no, like, that sucks. Like, they're like, no, but it's like, you guys are like the best. And we're like, oh, God. And I think we did it. It was just so sad, I don't even know what that show was, but I'm like, yeah.
And like, do you like? I'm pretty sure like that like Glue, the demo or the band is like, it's like a well-respected band. Did you at the moment realize like, oh, we have something special going on here?
Oh yeah, definitely. When Cody started playing those songs, I was like, damn, this is great. I think when he played me, what did he play me? Peer Evaluation. Oh, I was like, whoa, this band's gonna be good. Yeah.
Sick.
So yeah.
That's really cool. So Glue and Institute are both starting as a band. At what point do you move to New York?
Okay, so...
Or what's the timeline then?
Yeah, so Glue and Institute start in probably like 2012, 2013. And then I moved to New York in 2016. Okay. So like 3 years after the band start.
Okay, so talk to me about those 3 years initially. You guys are touring. What is your life like?
Yeah. Basically, like as soon as the band start, we're just like every summer, every winter break, everyone is in school. So like we can tour in the summer and we can tour in the winter. And so we would just do that. Like every winter, we'd like miss Christmas and just go on tour for like 3 weeks. And everyone would be like, "Why are you on the East Coast right now?" Or like, "Cause this is the only time we can go." Like, yeah, we just like every break we had, we'd just go on tour. And then people started graduating from college, and then like then we could just go more frequently. So it was busy, but like just coming up here all the time was part of the reason why I moved. I was just like, oh, like I've always wanted to live here, and I know from touring, just know enough people in New York now that like I think I could land there and it would be okay.
And there's a picture where Juan Carlos posted where it's you guys. It's I think all the members of Glue sitting down like on the floor, and Harris has his dick out or like looking through his zipper. So talk to me about that time in your life, like just going on tour. Like how crazy was it? Like among not like the shows, but amongst you guys, how are you developing as a person? Like I'm envisioning you kind of being like a shy, nerdy kid, and then like now you're on tour with like all these other characters. Like talk to me about like that.
Oh man, yeah. Everyone had been friends for so long that like, and a lot of people were straight edge too. So just like a lot of people had like fairly level heads on them. I was the one that was just like, I was always drunk. Like, like me and Peter and Reside, like and Alex too. We would party. But I don't know. I would just, I was always just super anxious and still was, even, we're going on tour. I'm just like, just in my own head and anxious and just like getting older, like just having similar spirals and just being like, oh, like a lot of it was just being bi and like being around all this like masculine, crazy energy. And it's being like, this is not my vibe. Like,
okay.
This is not so much like what I feel comfortable around. Okay. But just like, and at that point in time, like, just hardcore is so like, just kind of, crazy masculine environment. And I was like, whoa, like, I feel weird here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So there was a lot of that going on, just like being, anxious and feeling like a imposter in my own skin. But it was good too.
Saying you're feeling like an imposter in your own skin during that time. Like I would consider you like an artist more than like a musician or a punk or like any other category. Like the way I think you present your music and like the way you present yourself is very like artistic. Like there's some certain people you just kind of like, oh, that's an artist. Like I don't even know what they do, but like they just carry themselves like an artist. Did you ever see yourself as that? Like maybe like you didn't feel like you belonged to this punk world, but like hey, maybe I'm not what I feel like in this hardcore world, but like I see myself more as like as an artistic person, if that makes sense. Like I'm talking about like leading up to like Piece de Resistance, Moses, like where you become that person. Did you ever feel like that inside?
I mean, definitely with like Institute and stuff. Like when that started, that was very much in punk world. But like I was like, this is not just gonna be a punk band. It's gonna be like a very like I want to like think about this super hard and like make it as like certainly like on like the 7-inch and like the first LP and the first 12-inch. Like the demo is kind of a little bit us just figuring out, but like it was very like intentional. I wanted to be smart and just like well done. And just accurately express like the care that I was coming to music with. It's like this shit means a lot to me. Like I want it to be really good. So I feel like that's the first point where I was like, oh, maybe, yeah, okay. I'm not just like a guy that plays drums. I'm like I have a creative. I can create music and be a musical artist.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Is there any like specific artist bands, like not necessarily that inspired the sound of Institute, but inspired you, like how to like create art, or like like as a like made you like feel like I don't know, like inspired you, I guess. Not necessarily like directly like I'm gonna steal this style, but like art other artists that you look up to, right. Whether it's like with bigger artists or like friends or
yeah. Okay, so I mean, like obviously, Institute sounds like a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Like it's very like everyone's like, oh, it sounds like Crisis, sounds like Warsaw, sounds like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But kind of spiritually, yeah, like for me, 100% like Milk Music was like the most important band in the world. Because like, yeah, I was just like, like Chaos and Chaos or something would happen. Like all these hardcore bands would come. I would be like, yo, this is sick. Like, stoked that these bands are here. But then Milk Music would be a part of that, like would be playing shows with like hardcore bands and punk bands. And I'd be like, yo, like, what? Who's this like beautiful, magical band? Like, and they get to play the punk show? Like, I want to do that.
Okay.
So it's just like, yeah, they were definitely by far, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
Like, these are my guys.
I would not expect that answer. That's a really good answer.
100%. And people would like, when Institute first started, you know what I mean? They'd be like, like who's your dream band to like go on tour with? Blah blah. I'm like, Milk Music.
Say, did you ever tell the Milk Music guys that? Because I know that that's like not far out of reach. I'm assuming.
No, yeah, we're friends with them. I mean, yeah, I definitely told them how much I liked the band. I can't remember. I don't know if I was explicitly like, yo, you're so important to me.
Yeah. But
I should.
Yeah. And I'm very, very curious, and I hope I asked this question correctly. I'm like, obviously, if you're in punk and hardcore, there's like negatives, and some of the negatives is that people could be too, like talk shit too much about like, when a band sounds different or is like popular or whatever. And like Institute being so like, in your face, like artsy or poetic. Like at the time, like did people like criticize your band for that? Like for being too, like, cause now it's easy to look at. You guys played many records and, you guys will play and people will come out. But at the time, like, like that live video where you guys play the radio show, there's like someone painting, like while you guys are playing, like, was there a lot of pushback when Institute started, I guess is what I'm asking.
Not really, which is surprising, Like,
yeah, it is, because I feel like now with the internet, you could just see like any band that sounds a little different is like, they're too fucking this, they want to be this, they want to be that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. Coming from Austin, like, I think in Austin we were like, people were cool with us. Even like, we would play shows, like there's some show that it was like Institute, back-to-back, Glue, Impalers, Power Trip. And so like all these like, I don't know, it's a stacked gig. But just like, yeah, Institute's playing and like all these like locking out type dudes are like dancing and like, yo, that was sick.
Sick.
So like it would be places like just like snobby punk towns. I think like we would go play in like Portland or something and the show would suck. And it's like, you would think Portland would like Institute, but like they'd be like that's our shit. Like no one was ever explicitly mean to us, but we definitely got like, I feel like there's just like a couple of towns where you're just like, why are we getting a cold shoulder here? Like, doesn't seem like you guys like us. But like, wait, what? Come on.
Interesting.
Like this is where I thought that we would be having like a rapport.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you go play in like Kansas City and like all those like hardcore kids are just like, your band rocks. We love you.
That's very interesting. Interesting. something I do want to ask. Glue tours a lot internationally, more than like the U.S. And one tour I want to talk to you about is going to Cuba.
Yeah.
Talk to me about touring Cuba.
So crazy.
And specifically, I want to ask, like, you're a kid from Austin, Texas. Like, you know, like, you know, it's like the U.S. Like, you're, like, you know, you're comfortable enough. You're not, like, I'm assuming you're not having, like, a crazy life, you know, like, as far as, like, at home. So, like, to go from that, like, you know, to, like, learn and, like, see the world, I want you to talk to me about that. Like, seeing, like, getting to know the world, seeing how other countries operate, or, like, how other people, like, consume music or participate in punk in other countries. Like, getting to learn, how did that change you? Talk to me about that.
Yeah. I mean, it is cool just to, like, travel to all these places where, like, punk is way more of just, like, an actual lifestyle, you know? Or just, like, the community that it provides to, like, other countries that maybe just don't have, you know, as many resources, like, is crazy. Like, all these people, like, really, like, depend on each other and are there for each other. And, like, that happens, you know, here too, but, like, you get a lot of more of just, like, just kind of fashion, you know, punk as a cool thing to do in the States. Yeah, you know, and just, like, traveling, like, Europe and, you know, or just, like, places where it's, like, it's, like, squats and, like, you know, that still being a thing that punk is actively doing. But, yeah, I mean, we did a whole, like, Central American tour. And we had toured Mexico before that. I think, like, that was maybe, like, that was probably the first international tour that we did. Maybe we'd been to Canada, but, like, going to Mexico was amazing. I mean, being from Texas, I'm just like, you know, Mexico just feels like an extension of, or Texas feels like an extension of Mexico, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it was awesome. And just playing, like, we played some, you know, small little towns like Colima and, like, Zacatecas and I don't know. Yeah, it was special. And I feel like I learned a lot, you know. You're just like, punk is so just, like, the effect of, like, Spanish punk on on Latin America, like Mexico, like, I didn't really know anything about, like, Escarbuto or, you know,
Rip.
Any of these. Like all these bands, I was like, damn, like, this is, okay, it's, punk is different here, and I like it. Like, this is great. My favorite thing was, like, we were at some bar, and there's, like, this decked out, scary looking dude in Mexico, like, just spikes, crazy hair, and he was just, like, shouting about how Sandinista is the best punk record ever made. And I was like, yo, I like this place. I was like, you, the crazy spiky guy, you like Sandinista too? Okay. Like, sick. But yeah, I don't know, like, being in Cuba too is crazy. Just, like, you know, just going. I mean, that was, like, the one time in our lifetime maybe that Cuba is going to be, you know, open enough for Americans to, like, easily go down there. It's like, you know, obviously what's going on there now is so fucked up. And I don't know, you know, I don't know if we'll be able to go back there for a while. But it was crazy just to, like, you know, you're like, we met this one kid. I think his name was Pollo. I forget what his band was called. But he was just, like, they had toured Europe a bunch. And I was like, it was that realization, like, oh, like, you can't tour America because there's, like, a blockade and, like, like, America's ruined this place. Like, for no good reason. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, definitely like doing all this international traveling, you're just like really just, get firsthand experience of like, yo, like America sucks, damn. Like, and like, now I'm like well steeped in that, and I think the world is, understanding this, their layman American, whoever the fuck is, like starting to put the pieces together. But like that, for me, I was like, it was eye opening for me to be like, wow, we're doing so many bad things.
Yeah.
And there's really good people and good things going on in all these countries that we're going to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I did specifically ask that after you mentioned like maybe like Institute not doing so well in a city like Portland, like having pushback. Because it's funny because as I gotten older, I've always realized like I'm like, damn, there's like people in other countries who like will die for like a decent band to play there, like or just like to come over and like care about that they exist, like as through like a musical or as a band, Yeah, and if you don't mind me, tell me about like I guess the Cuban tour ended short because there was like no money to be made, and then also like I heard you guys like were gonna charge but like no one ended up paying, so like there was no money or something like that.
Yeah, there wasn't enough money. I mean, basically, like we didn't have access to any of our U.S. bank accounts there. And the guy that was putting the show on was like, okay, yeah, like everyone needs to bring euros. Like euros are the best, currency to bring in and then convert. And I think he told us each to bring like 200 euros, and for us at that time, like that was so much money. I was like, I think I tried to bring like 100 euros, maybe 150 euros, like, but yeah, we kind of instantly got there, and we had to take a cab from the airport, and then a bus the next day from Havana to Santa Clara, which is where the first show was. And there was supposed to be like 3 other shows, but by the time we got to Santa Clara, we were like, yeah, we're broke. We don't have any more money. Like, just like, like transport there costs so much money because it's just like nobody has cars, and the people that do have cars, like, that's their livelihood. Like they're supporting their family on owning a car and like driving things. So like, yeah, just taking two taxi rides was like, that was it. We spent all our money and we couldn't get any more. So we had to like just cancel the shows. And they're probably pretty loosely, I don't know how. I don't know. I wasn't involved in the planning of it. It was, but it's pretty crazy.
If you don't mind me asking, who in Glue or like is like the one that pushes you guys to tour internationally a lot? Because I remember
that's Harris. Yeah,
Harris is the one.
He's always like, let's go to this place, and all of us are just like, okay, that's sick. I mean, yeah, like Institute definitely. I'm always like. Yeah, Institute, I'm kind of more in charge of booking, and I'm a little less adventurous when it comes to, where I want to, like, front all this money to go to, Harris is a little bit more laissez-faire. He's like, well, let's go. Like, fuck it. Like, I don't know if we'll make our money back, but let's go. And, it's been great for us because it's just like, yeah.
So you moved to New York. Talk to me about moving to New York. Who'd you like? The person you became, the just like what like you moving to New York. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, moved here and like just was still doing band stuff all the time. Like I think I moved here and like a month later, Institute went on tour in Europe for the first time. So yeah, I don't know. I was I was living here, but just doing what I was doing in Texas, you know? And I was working at various like galleries and museums and like, getting booked for like 7 weeks of installing a show and then, talking with the guys and being like, okay, next install is when? June? Okay, cool. We're going to go on tour in May and then I'll be back. I was just like scheduling my, like tours around like all this like just freelance work stuff and just trying to make both of it work. Yeah, it's fun as me, meeting a bunch of new people here. Yeah, just like, it was cool just to like meet, coming from Austin, it's like the New York bands were just always like the top of the food pyramid. I was like, these guys are the best. So, coming here and like getting to meet everybody and like see, what bands they were up to now. Yeah, it was really cool. And it was just nice to, Austin at that point was kind of changing and just like, it now it definitely kind of sucks to live there.
Okay.
But at that point it was still pretty cushy and awesome, but it was changing and I was just like, I think I was kind of ready just to do something else. Yeah.
Starting Peace de Resistance. It's like it was cool to see like when it came out. I'm like, damn, that's the dude from Glue and Institute. Like, just like, I don't know. Like in my interpretation, it was like kind of like, I don't want to say like a rock star, but like in a good way. Like it's like, oh, like this like developed artist. Like just doing like beautiful music and like kind of just putting himself out there. Like you're, like putting yourself on the album cover is like a, it's like a really cool thing. Like this guy's toured Cuba and toured fucking Europe and like has played in like the Glue catalog is not on streaming, like, and for this guy to like like have this like very like poetic posture, like was kind of like really cool to see, like from like someone who's like into like punk and like to be like, you can also do this, you can also become this other thing,
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool to see. So talk to me about like like putting the music together, like I am curious to know like you putting yourself on the album cover, like that's like a bold move, like that's like at least to me.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you feel like that, because that is like that was kind of the goal. It's just like I feel like I had spent so much time with like Institute, like just worrying about being a band and being a functional band and how we fit into punk and I was just like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do now, and that was something totally different, but yeah, I don't know, it really was it was a result of COVID, right? So like I was at home recording music by myself for the first time. That like just recording music that like wasn't gonna be a demo, like stuff that I was like, this will just go on a record. Like I had never done that before, and doing music all by myself was very eye opening because like I could just do whatever I want to. Like there's no having band members is amazing, but like it's great to bounce ideas off of people, but also when it's just you, there's no one to be like, ooh, I don't know about that. That's kind of crazy. I was like, ooh, like this is sick. It's just me. I can just do all the weird ass shit that like everyone else is like kind of freaked out by.
Yeah.
And so that's just been the spirit of the project the whole time. Just like, do whatever you want to and try to push yourself and make it strange. Yes, that's what I'm doing still.
Sick. And what was like the inspiration of like the album covers?
Okay, album covers. Well, yeah, it's just like I liked the idea of the band, the guy in the band going solo. Okay. It's just like picture of a face just like trying to, just riffing on classic solo act. And the name too, Piece de Resistance. I'm just like, this is like very trying to be silly and tongue in cheek of like, it's my face, Piece de Resistance. Like, this is it. This is showbiz.
Insane. And I'm very, very curious. This question might not have a good answer, but I feel like, through all your bands, like, I've already expressed like, like my admiration for your bands. Has any of the bands, or you specifically throughout time, have you guys ever been like offered a lot of money or offered something that something bigger? Because I've talked about this to other people. It's like Glue Institute, any of your projects alone could have ended up on like a commercial or whatever, or like at least like the way you guys look and the presentation. So I'm curious if if you have always been purposeful, like low key, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no nothing is really no money of any sizable amount has ever been offered to us.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I mean, like with, and it's like it would depend, I guess, on whatever it was. But yeah, nothing. No one ever. We never had to say yes because no one ever asked.
Yeah, I mean, not that like I want to like, because I was talking to my friend outside the show the other day, and we are just talking about like how like hardcore just kind of went the other side of like, like just so much money.
Super pro, pro. It's crazy.
Yeah, like we're like and I want to specify like. I think people were like, oh, let's be inclusive, like let's not like shut down all these ideas, like let people make their money. And then it got to a point where it's like, this is too much, like this is like almost like a lot of these things could be used as like almost a joke. And then I was like telling him, I was like, I kind of wish like a lot of these bands or these projects or these, kind of stayed within, like, and the first thing that came to mind, I was like, look at Glue. Like Glue's toured all over the world. They've been a band for 10 plus years. And like, like the music's not even on streaming, like, and
you really don't need to be like, you don't need to compromise to find success in the world, And I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, well, I have to do the music industry thing to be successful. And it's like, no, man, you don't have to do any of that,
Yeah, and I've always truly admired of like both bands equally, Institute and Glue. I'm like, you guys, I feel like if you guys really tried, you guys could have like, it could be sold or whatever, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. But I just think, no one really wanted to do that,
Yeah.
Everyone had just like was chilling, working jobs, and no one ever wanted to like be a professional musician. Which I think is kind of, like, dude, I think a lot of bands, right, like, currently are like, oh, you know what? Like, let's be professional musicians. And I was like, what? It just feels like people are setting out with that as their goal. Mm-hmm. I understand if that happened, if that snowballs and you find yourself in that situation, but it's just like, I feel like, there's a lot of bands that are starting that are just like, that's their intention, is to make money off of it. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like Peace has been like actively trying to like, I'm just like, let me go the opposite direction. Let me try to do the whatever weird thing I want to do that people won't like.
Wow.
I'm just like, I want to do the opposite of like what I think people want me to do.
That's interesting because I feel like it's a very like, I think it's a very digestible project. Very like. Totally.
Yes. But like, you know what I mean? Like as far as like Institute, like I don't know, like we're not doing. I don't know. I'm like let me do like a reggae song, and everyone's like, that sounds. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Doesn't sound good. Like, I'm like, no, it makes sense. I love it. I don't know.
So what do you see for yourself in the future now? Like, what do you envision yourself? How old are you? You said 33?
33, yeah.
What do you envision yourself like in 10 years, 20 years from now? Like, I think you're a very developed artist, and like I'm very curious to see like what's next.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to, make more records. see what happens. It's just, see what happens as far as my musical career, but see what happens as far as like the music that I make. I just want to see to whatever weird ass point it gets to. Just keep pushing the envelope. Institute working on another record, and there's a new Peace record that is almost done. There's maybe Glue will have another record at some point. Just keep doing it. I don't know. It's kind of, at this point, it's like, it's the thing that I have found that I'm, that I'm competent at, and people respond to. So I'm just like, I'll just keep doing that, And I still get a lot out of it. So,
yeah.
Sick.
Anything else you'd like to say?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Sick. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. It was. I picked up and learned a lot from. Because I feel like I don't know, just growing up like in the modern world, where I grew up with the internet being very accessible. I think everybody wants to be somebody, and it's kind of hard to find someone authentic and does a good job at being themselves, if that makes sense. So seeing a lot of Austin bands and a lot of your era of music, getting to talk to some of you guys, I'm like, damn, this is cool. You guys are about it, and that's all there is to it. There is no bigger, higher, maybe this, maybe that. It's just play music, put out really good records, and then what happens next. And it's hard to think like that.
Yeah. No, it's it's important to keep I think people are doing music or art and stuff. It's and they're always kind of spiraling of what is this gonna mean for the future? How is this gonna affect me or change my life or whatever? And it's just definitely I feel like when you're in your 20s, of course, that's what you're thinking about. I definitely was oh my god, it's just, what's this gonna mean? But you just keep doing it, and you're just oh, it means nothing. It's the same old shit, and and nothing is ever gonna happen like you are
envision
how you're envisioning. Yeah. And so if nothing's gonna happen how you envision, why don't you just do what you want to do and not worry about what's gonna happen?
Okay, I like that.
Don't future trip and think that what you're this song I'm making is gonna affect a lot of people and be really important. It's hell no, don't think about that. Think about is it fun right now? Is it cool? Are you having fun?
Okay.
Making it? Do you feel like this is magical? If not, maybe don't do it.
Damn, I like that. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna end the recording and then just ask you if you want me to send you this interview before I put it out. Peace.